Well, for more on China's achievements in poverty alleviation, I'm joined live via Skype by political and economic affairs commentator Einar Tangen. Always good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Michelle.
So, Einar, how significant is this milestone for China, and what key steps made the biggest difference?
Well, it was this individually targeting measures that she said that, it's fine to say you have a war on poverty or you're going to eliminate it, but the question is how you do it. And they literally took it on an individual family, village, and area basis, as, you just heard from that report. But, the major takeaway here is going to be that China went forward, even despite the pandemic, and was able to accomplish its goal. Not so in the rest of the world. You're going to see the largest increase in poverty basically since the 1960s in the U.S. 8 million people added to the ranks of poverty. Now, there are different measures, but it's going to continue to rankle those in the U.S. who believe that they have the best system, because China consistently is delivering the results that they say could never happen because the country's on the verge of collapse. So the rhetoric and reality does not match.
And as you mentioned, we saw the pandemic push people in other parts of the world back below the poverty line. So what can China do to really sustain its current momentum and ensure that people just lifted from poverty don't fall back under those poverty lines?
Well, I mean, the efforts haven't been changed. The Poverty Alleviation Bureau has been changed to a Rural Revitalization Bureau. And really what this does is it continues the exact same trend. What they want to do is bring people above the purchasing power parity. That means the amount of money that you actually can use in terms of equivalency to about $5.50 a day, which is the next milestone out there, which really means that you're being raised to the point where you have a decent life, going beyond bare subsistence to a better, having more of the things that are needed, perhaps going from paper windows to glass windows, things like this. Many things that people in the rest of the world take for granted, they will continue to do.
Now, we did see that President Xi highlighted tech innovation in poverty strategy going forward. What do you think we can expect?
Well, technology is going to play a large part in it. I mean, when you start talking about rural revitalization, it really means efficiency. So it's which leads to better lives for our rural players. In the United States, less than 2% of the population is engaged in the agricultural business directly. There's more indirectly, but in China, the figure is much higher. So what they want to do is make sure that all arable land can be used efficiently and effectively. That means using drones, monitoring, using GPS, using drip irrigation, having larger fields that are cultivated not by people, but by machines and monitored by robots. So it's very, very important in terms of making sure, for instance, that you don't have these boom and bust periods, especially with eggs and pork, which we've seen. If you're monitoring and you can tell farmers, look, if you start buying piglets today, this is what the price you can expect based on the other numbers of people going into this market 6 months from now. Very, very important, because you don't want to dislocate people's small savings by having them engage in businesses which are not going to be productive. It smooths out the entire line in terms of what you're expected to pay. Prices are going to be more stable.
Right.
So they have a lot of hopes for technology.
So then, in terms of livelihoods then, what do we know about a plan regarding continued support and job creation for those in low-income communities?
Well, this is one of the most interesting parts of it. They realize that as you get down to a smaller and smaller number, many of these people just won't be joining the workforce. If you have extreme mental disabilities or physical disabilities, they're trying to make sure that there is something out there, but you're going to need some sort of additional support. A lot of the times that comes in, giving subsidies to employers who will employ people who have these disabilities, giving them simple jobs, whether it's standing at a gate or perhaps collecting trash, whatever. People have the dignity of being able to say that they're able to do something, and China will continue that. And it's necessary. You can't say I'm going to eradicate poverty for most of the people. You either are committed to doing it or not. And this is, one of the things where a lot of people outside of China will say, well, it's communist. Maybe they're doing something very sneaky. That's not the case. This has been done, and it's been documented. Versus, as I said, the reversals in the rest of the world.
And clearly it's a framework that works. Thank you so much. Einar Tangen there, political and economic affairs commentator. Thank you so much.
Thank you.